Quick hits. These are three things that have popped up on my radar that has been in the news recently. TikTok, talking about U.S. ban on TikTok could happen in the month of January. How much of an effect it's going to have on individuals in the U.S., small businesses, creators. You can see here 1.3 billion in just 1 month. Nvidia shares, they fell recently. Why? Because China opened up an antitrust investigation against them. Now, many people believe that this was just, cloud, fluff, whatever you want to call it, that Nvidia is way too important to China in terms of providing chips to their businesses, to the government, to put an antitrust or some sort of penalty on Nvidia. So a lot of people think that this is just China trying to fight back against all the restrictions that the United States is putting on. And third, fast food industry watchers expect big discounts in the first half of 2025. Fast food chains cutting their prices on their food. It's good to see for those that are frequently going to fast food restaurants. I don't go too often, but I know many people do. So let's get to the first one quickly. TikTok, a ban on TikTok. What does that mean? Well, first chart will show it all. Ban on TikTok. You can see here how many quarterly users from 2018 to 2024. Look how much that number has grown. So if the US were to ban TikTok, Canada follows suit as well. How many people would lose, as I said, 1.3 billion in just 1 month? You're going to talk about businesses losing the way that they advertise, that they get information out. Individuals go to TikTok for their news to see what's going on in the world. So many people use TikTok. And, I understand the United States believes that this is a way that China can infiltrate the U.S., can have an effect on U.S. voters, U.S. people in general, what they like, what they think, what they believe. I don't know if I'm in total agreement with that, but if the U.S. were to ban TikTok come January, and I know that right now TikTok is trying to appeal this. They've already lost recently an appeal in court, but they keep going, trying to do what they can to stay in the U.S. It's quite important for TikTok, obviously, and for many people. The second topic that we wanted to get to quickly on a quick hit is Nvidia. Nvidia, largest company in the world, largest chip maker in the world, worth, last time I checked, somewhere around $3.5 trillion. And Nvidia, as I said, there was an antitrust investigation opened up in China against Nvidia, and that took down their stock slightly. But I think cooler heads have prevailed for investors. And so we've seen Nvidia stock just as early as this morning move higher again. So I don't think that any antitrust investigation will have a long-lasting effect on Nvidia. I think people are going to buy the stock if they believe that their chips will dominate going forward, at least for the foreseeable future. They will definitely have some competition in the future. Google has a new chip that they just announced, AMD, and many others will follow. But for now, Nvidia has such a dominating position, and we have a chart on Nvidia. You could show it here. There it is. They have such a dominating position right now with the chips, AI chips, that it's going to take a while for anyone to catch up. But you can see that Nvidia has even flatlined towards the right-hand side of that chart and has no longer gone up with the same pace that they used to move higher with. The last quick hit that I've seen in the news is this idea that fast food restaurants are going to start to discount or cut prices. Why is that? Well, they've seen a lot of people leave their stores, their locations. They're not going in right now. They're saying that even fast food has gotten too pricey for individual. I guess when government was giving out money during COVID and other times, and when they were able to set aside that money and spend it once everything reopened, they had money to pay these higher prices. But because inflation has made things a lot more expensive, these fast food restaurants have noticed that they're starting to see less people coming into their establishments, and they're going to cut prices to try and lure people back in. Just a pretty neat chart here. Top 10 restaurants in America by sales. Thought it would be good to show. McDonald's, by far, the number one. I'm sure that's not a surprise. Starbucks, I'm sure that's not a surprise either. Number two, if you walk around Manhattan, New York, all you see is Starbucks or McDonald's. But I think Chick-fil-A, I know my son likes Chick-fil-A. I think Yorkdale Mall here in Toronto has a Chick-fil-A. 21.6 billion. I'm surprised to see that as number 3. But you can see here, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Dunkin', and Domino's, I guess, rounds out the top 10. So look for some discounts at some of these fast food restaurants in 2025. Perhaps that will work to get people back into the fast food chains. And if you're a fast food eater, I guess you're going to be happy to see that in 2025.